Hey everybody, welcome back to Slingin TV this week. We're going to be in hell today. You'll understand why later, but we're going to be talking about rainouts and heats.
And then we're going to have part deuce of the Cooney Songer super interview with Buddy Ray here.
We're going to have a tech tip with Alex Broad. Wait till you see the super tool he's going to be using today.
And we have our Fan of the Week question.
And of course, Songer says. So stay tuned. It's Slingin TV presented by Joe's Karting. Oh man, son of a gun. It is hotter than hell out. Oh, hey everybody, welcome back to Slingin TV. Man, it feels like hell. This heat and humidity, this is getting ridiculous. I don't know about you guys out there. I understand it's summertime and it's gonna get warm and it's gonna get hot. With this string of 95 to 111 degree days with 100% humidity, you know,
it's been crazy. The humidity, you put the heat is one thing, but then you throw in monsoon humidity on top of that and no wind, and my God, is it miserable.
Friday night, we're at I-80 Speedway. You didn't race.
I did not race.
It was too hot for you. The car count was actually down. And surprisingly, the number of fans in the stands were way, way down. And a couple of guys were walking by. I don't know who they were, but they were talking. You know, if they can cancel for wet weather and the chance of thunderstorms and rain, which we've all been there, done that, then why don't we cancel for extremely hot weather? Now
there were some tracks that did cancel because of the heat.
Yeah, I think Shelby County canceled because of the heat, but there was also a chance of there was a chance of rain in the forecast, but because of the heat. But I do know 2 or 3 years ago, Raceway Park, I believe it was, up in South Dakota, they actually canceled because of the heat. And I remember, I think it was Raceway Park, and I remember asking the promoter, really? It's dry? He goes, yeah, but if one person goes into the stands and they die of a heat stroke, or they get heat exhaustion, they die of heat stroke later on, or God forbid, I have a racer, a competitor at my track die of a heat stroke, was it really worth being open?
Well, and it's like, you gave me crap for not racing, but you already know my situation, so I expected it, Like me, I have had heat stroke before for my military service, and so the heat affects me differently. So we talked about it on the way here. I don't need everybody else to know my medical history, but I also work in the heat all day. My crew chief works in the heat all day, so to throw that on top and have no recovery period and then go straight to racing on a Friday night, that's the bad thing. If it was a Saturday, we probably would have attempted it, but being it was a Friday and we had both worked that same day too, and everybody's got to make that call, whether you're a driver or a promoter. I would love it for the promoters to make that call, because then you kind of know, but it's just like us with our silly little points race we got going on. I didn't race. He's in the lead now because I didn't race, but that's just the thing that I had to do. And you had a good run. You had a top 10 even in the heat. So,
yeah.
But back to what we're talking about. The heat is a serious thing, and if somebody gets sick, and you figure we're out there. You said it was at 111.
So, yeah, the official temperature that was rumored around the infield Friday night at I-80 Speedway, actual air temp, not heat index. The actual air temp, 111. And that's one thing, I want to go into that. That's one thing a lot of fans don't realize, is when you're watching Channel 3, 6, or 7, or whoever, your local weather station in your local hometown, the last time, unless I missed something, dirt is brown. It's dark. It absorbs the heat in the sun. It's not white. It's not reflective. Well, then you take, if the air temperature is 90, 95 degrees, and you go down inside this dark brown bowl of a racetrack with no wind, it ain't going to be 90, 95 degrees. No. It's a lot hotter. Well, so Friday night, you take 111 degrees, and then on top of that, we're strapped into these cars, and, everybody knows our fire suits are on, our helmets are on, we're strapped, and we're sitting on a cushion on the seat. There's no wind blowing through these cars unless you're moving. And then you got the exhaust on a lot of these cars. The exhaust is pounding back on us. I really would love to. In fact, I might do this. I wanted to go buy a thermometer and stick it inside my car. Now everybody knows that I have GoPros in my car.
Yeah, put one of those on your dash.
And I want to put a GoPro in there, and I want people to see how hot.
Yeah, and if you watch the NASCAR race at Indy, one of the cars, they had a thermometer on the side of the guy's seat, so you could see what the temperatures were, because they were talking about how hot it was, and they have helmets that blow air into them and all that good stuff. So, no, for us it is kind of miserable, and there's a fine line where you get to between.
When do you call it?
When do you call it and when you don't? What is your situation? Are you running for a points championship? You're running for fun? When does it stop being fun and now it's more like a job or a burden just to get these laps in, just to collect some points?
Well, I was thinking about that, and we were sparring words with each other in a positive way Friday night. We were.
I knew I was going to get it.
Yeah. So I got to think and to each their own. Now you and I have different views and opinions on things in racing, and to me, whether it be 110 or 30 below, in my opinion, I have sponsors that I got to take care of. They pay me to race. When I say they pay me, they advertise on my car, so they expect my car to be at the race. Therefore, they pay me to race. And so, to me, it's not right for them to sponsor me and then not be at the track. Now, does that mean I absolutely have a blast when it's 95 or 100 degrees or 111? No. But they didn't have to sponsor me either, so I show up at the track and make the best of it. Now, Friday night, like I was telling you on the way over, it ended up being probably one of the top 5 nights of my life racing. It was not cool. It was not warm. It's like you couldn't even feel the air. It was just perfect. It was awesome. But there's been times, Blackbird Bend was a prime example. I've talked about this with you. I remember watching a thunderstorm, a big red blob on the radar. Now, Blackbird Bend's about 68 miles from my house, and I was running up there for points, and I didn't go. Well, why would I go? You look at radar, and there's red everywhere.
Sure.
What's the point of going? Come to find out, they raced that night. Half the cars didn't show up, which really changed the points racing.
I mean, well, that's what I'm saying.
And then come to find out, it rained like 400 yards. You could actually see, the guys were telling me, like, Bud, you could see the rain shaft out in the field about 400 yards. And so that told me, I was like, okay, unless the track officially cancels,
right,
I'm racing. But you'd have a good point. At one person, like yesterday, I looked at my phone yesterday, and it was 90 degrees. That's not, in my opinion, super, super hot.
No.
But the humidity was so retarded that my wife came out and she's like, Bud, you need to get inside, cool off. You don't need to do everything in the next hour and a half. And to me, it was stifling.
Well, and that's it. There's a big difference between 90 degrees with a dry heat and 90 degrees with 80% humidity.
But at what point do you say, all right, at 95 degrees we call it, at 100 degrees we call it? I always thought if we're going to see 100 degrees, if it's forecasted 100 degrees, in my opinion, and I'm a track promoter, I'm calling it.
Well, and
nobody needs to get heat stroke at the track.
And the thing is, you talk about sponsors and all that stuff too. Well, I've got sponsors that I have to live up to, but I'm not going to risk my life, or my crew's life, for a measly, for a $50 paycheck and showing the flag. Hey, we do enough other stuff, parades and things like that, showing them on, that we get the word out. The sponsors understand. They're not going to put you in a spot, If you're a big name driver, you got a hauler with air conditioning in it, and you can go out there and tough it out for your heat races and the mains and stuff. But when you're little guys like us I don't even have an enclosed trailer. You have an enclosed trailer, which is one step above mine because you got shade and you can turn a fan on and at least kind of be out of direct sunlight. Me, I end up sitting in the cab of my truck with the truck running with the air conditioner going, which is almost twice as bad because then you get out and it feels twice as hot. Oh
yeah, it's like a brick wall.
You can't see anything. It's just not fun, and it just takes it all out of you. So, anyways, I would rather see the promoters call that stuff. But I understand they got to make a buck, and they've got crews out there that are working in that same heat.
Yeah, everybody thinks that
you're never going to make anybody happy. You just have to. Put yourself in the position that you say, I just got to live with the consequences if I don't race.
I got to feel sorry for the promoters here because everybody thinks, well, if Joe Koziski doesn't race I-80 Speedway Friday night, well, he ain't out no money. No. He's out some serious money because he's got those folks pretty much on a retainer. Those folks said, look, Joe, on Friday night, we're going to work for you. So he doesn't have to pay them because it didn't work, but he had fuel for the tractors, he had fuel for this, he had electricity for that. I mean, even though people they see an empty racetrack, it's not like Joe went there and didn't spend any money. I mean, he spent some money. Eagle Raceway, Roger, says, okay, look, they canceled. Well, guess what? They're still out money. They were prepping the track that week. They were doing this. They were doing that. They've got insurance.
It's like I said. It's a lose-lose, no-win situation for everybody. But it would be nice that, if somebody made that call, great. I applaud them. But I understand if they don't.
Well, I know when Raceway Park canceled here 2-3 years ago because of the heat, the drivers and the fans, ironically, loved it. It's bad enough for the drivers, and I'm not trying to make anybody feel sorry for us drivers, but because we make that cognitive decision to show up. Nobody puts our gun to our head.
Right.
But we also have a responsibility to put on a show for the fans. So it's already bad enough when it's 111 or 100 degrees out at the track, and then we get in the car, but the fans were talking, well, yeah, what fun is it to go watch these guys when we have to sit on a hot wooden or a hot aluminum bleacher and burn our butts? And
the only way to stay cool is drink beer, which dehydrates you more, and then...
Well, yeah. It ain't worth it. I'd like to hear everybody's opinion out there. At what point do you think enough is enough with the heat and the humidity? At what point do you call it?
Well, and you know what? I don't know why these guys don't use later dates in the fall to run versus having, it's like being in school where you have so many snow days. They should have days at the end of the year that if they want to run races, they can to make them fence races.
The only problem about that, and I've talked to a couple promoters, Jack, about this. Why can't we run? Maybe take 1 or 2 weeks off in the summertime, but everybody's this industry is so cutthroat,
right,
that you can't afford to miss a week or two. You need to grab the racer's attention when you have the availability.
And it probably has a lot to do with nationals and everything, all the other schedules.
No. One of the two biggest things I've heard, school, because of the kids, and harvest. Harvest is huge.
Very true.
Harvest is very
true. It affects me.
Yeah, it affects you. So that's why they don't push it a lot back. A lot of times they want the racing done before high school football even starts. Even up in Crawford County, they want they want racing done before high school football, because come fall, guess what's king in that town? High school football. But when high school football takes off, guess what else is king in that town? The harvest. It's a farm community.
No, I live in a farm community. That. Yeah, I know exactly. It makes sense, but hey.
But I do like your idea. But anyways, let us know. What's too hot for you. So otherwise, we're just gonna suffer in hell here. Man, it is hot. It's still hot. So this is Slingin Dirt TV presented by Joe's Karting. We'll be right back. I need some more Dr. Pepper or something. Sunday, August 16th at Stewart International Speedway in Stewart, Iowa. It's the Richard Welch Bones Memorial Races, sponsored by Jorgensen Custom Hayes Services. $1,000 to win for IMCA Sport Mods. Also on the card that night would be IMCA Modified, Stock Cars, Hobby Stocks, and Sport Compacts. Hot laps at 5:30 with racing to follow. August 16th, the Richard Welch Bones Memorial Races. Be there.
At Kaziski Auto Parts Team PRP, this is where everything starts with our quality control, staying clean, and everything is organized right here in the teardown. At Kaziski Auto Parts, in our Step 2 process, this is where our guys take the engines and trannies out. They power wash and make sure everything tests good and clean so you have no problems for your vehicle. This is Step 3 at Kaziski Auto Parts. This is where everything, again, is organized, put on the shelf properly, tagged right. And if you notice how clean everything is, so it suits you, because we're not a junkyard, we are a recycled auto parts store. This is our last and final step here. This is the shipping and receiving. This is the last part where the part gets checked one last time, so 3 people will touch your part before it goes out the door, packaged properly and sent right to your door. Kaziski Auto Parts Team PRP. We have over 1,000 cars in stock a year, over 1,000 engines and trannies. Give us a call anytime, 402-731-4592. Any one of our 10 salesmen can help you at any time.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Slingin Dirt TV, presented by Joe's Karting. Joe's Karting, your only place to race where the only restriction is how slow you are. Lately, how hot you can get too, but that's just heat everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I tell you what, today's the day. It's part deuce.
Yeah.
Yep, we're dropping the number 2 on Todd Cooney, Sean Cooney, and Jamie Songer. I almost forgot your names.
I know.
Tube stock, sperm donors, and race car drivers is what we call this interview. If, man, to literally, the interview is really long, but to cut off the interview when Sean Cooney's talking about how dad proposed to mom in a McDonald's, and then you cut the interview off. Well, you just gotta wait and watch the rest of it.
I mean, these guys are characters, so
oh yeah,
it'll be entertaining. So make sure you watch.
Hey, and I don't know, is there promoting in Songer and Cooney's future? You know, can dumdum.com, you know, make it a go at it as track promoters? Stay here and find out. So, without further ado, here's Tube Stock, Sperm Donors, and Race Car Driver, Art Deuce.
Well, there was one downstairs.
I called you Big Mac.
McDonald's would play
I know people that were conceived in a Pinto, but never were they brought about in a McDonald's.
Was this? No. Was this at the playground?
Probably.
And to be honest, your mom's a quite attractive woman, and what she sees in Harry over here is beyond me.
She's a lucky girl.
You say that so coyly too, like she's just a lucky girl.
She's a lucky girl.
I tell you what though, how important is it having, a supportive wife and a mother, when it comes to racing?
I got probably the most supportive family you could ask for. My grandma and grandpa was huge followers of mine. My grandma still is, and Sean's, and my mom and dad, same way. This was actually all built because of my dad. He started all this, and a lot of people get married, and we all know race cars can destroy a marriage quicker than anything.
Oh yeah.
So I am very fortunate to have the wife that I have. She likes the racing, she supports the racing. If she can't go to the races, she's not gonna frown on us for going. We can race 5-7 nights a week if we want to.
Right.
She won't say a word.
Jamie, how about you?
I've got a pretty supportive cast. I'm not allowed to go 5 or 7 nights a week, but
Tube socks? You?
Really? I mean, I share the same family as my dad, so just about.
I think your mom would rather go racing with you, from what I've seen. You guys,
Yeah.
you guys make a pretty good crew.
You don't get the text messages when I'm sitting in Benton and he.
I think, honestly, and you tell me if
my
I'm wrong,
mother
Sean.
supports the races, but she does not support everything that happens at the races. And
But be honest,
Is this the stuff that you do?
She
or
doesn't. She doesn't support it because she wants him to act like a gentleman, not like a
she's got pretty high expectations.
Yes.
For little Sean.
yes.
Now you think
And I don't know why.
think Dad is competitive? Mom don't like losing.
No.
Does she?
no, not really.
I think
No, we got-
I think Mom might be more competitive.
We got a lecture on the way home last night. Me and Saffel was on our way home last night, and I got a phone call that I need to figure out what the problem is, because we're fast in the heat, or he's fast in the heat races, and he sucks in the feature. We need to figure out what the problem is and get it fixed.
This is coming from her.
Yes.
Oh yes.
We need to, yeah, you two dum-dums, she said, need to get this figured out.
Wow.
Yeah. So she is very competitive.
She don't like to lose.
No.
Wow.
She's not. I wouldn't say she
But
doesn't-
she's not hard on
she's not
Sean.
overbearing or hard on you, but she wants the best.
Yeah. She don't say nothing to Sean about it. She just writes us about it. Because Sean can do no wrong. It's our fault.
Are you kidding me?
That's at home.
All right, so English, true story. Rachel, my wife, which y'all have met, We go down to Bellevue University to get our college transcripts. Well, like the nosy husband, I want to look at her college transcripts. And one of her courses is the fundamentals of English. What grade do you think she got in that?
Same as Riley got.
An F. So we went to Perkins off of I-80 Speedway, or I-80 itself, you know, the interstate there in Omaha. We walk up and this lady goes, well, come right this way. And Rachel goes, excuse me? And I looked at the waitress like, don't mind my wife. She failed the fundamentals of English. So yeah. I don't know what
I don't think I'd bring that up.
No, I wouldn't have brought that up.
I do all the time. Trust me, she doesn't know what I'm saying anyways. She thinks I'm speaking in Greek or something.
Well,
So
I've seen her tune you out. She's pretty good at it.
she's a pro at it. I'm not gonna lie. So here in a few years, you retire from active racing.
He won't.
Todd.
He won't. I promise you he won't. He said he was going to do it 3
Is that
years
his
ago.
mom talking?
He said he would do it last year. He said, I'm done. At the end of the season, he said, I'm done. Guess where he's at?
I've tried to quit several times.
I'm going to slow down. I'm only going to do Deary shows.
Yeah,
Racing every week in Harlan.
Well, yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of choice on the dairy shows.
Yeah, we didn't have very good luck.
No, I popped 3
Well-
motors in 3 nights. It kind of threw me out of the series.
The reason why I ask is you're so intelligent within the sport. You know how the sport is supposed to work. You've seen a lot of insight. You and Jamie both.
Todd,
Could we ever see Todd Cooney as a promoter?
I can't. Hey, everybody knows Stewart is my favorite racetrack. It's my all-time favorite. I grew up watching my dad. I grew up watching my dad race there. I met my best friend there, watching him race. And my buddy Chuck, thank you Chuck, won't even let me flag. Moses is injured. And
Well,
they won't
yeah,
even,
him announcing from time to time.
Exactly.
Why didn't they let you flag?
They put this dum-dum on a microphone, but won't let me hold the flags.
Well, you can come with me next week with the wandering mic. I mean, we're going to have some
No,
conversations.
I don't want to be seen with you in the public.
Sean, do you think that would be a good pairing? Let's say Chuck retires. At some point, Chuck is either going to retire or die. That's just human nature. You're going to retire or die. We're all going to die. So at some point, can you see Jamie as a track announcer and your dad the promoter at Stewart Speedway?
Do you like watching Stewart race?
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't put them together.
I think we'd be good.
I think we'd be
We could-
awesome.
Because one of two things is going to happen. It's going to close, it's going to burn to the ground, or everybody's going to ruin their car. It's going to be too busy laughing and just crash them. One of the,
we can be serious.
Yeah, but I mean, you
serious side.
pair Jamie up with somebody like Wombat and Songer. I mean, that's just got a weird
Yeah, let's not talk about that ride.
Wombat and Songer. You got Cooney and
Wombat can do the prayers.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, with a pairing like that, and you got good drivers. You know, Stewart.
Honestly, what do you see yourself doing?
Yeah,
Do you see it?
yeah.
I mean, I laugh, but do you see yourself trying? I see myself trying.
Trying.
A promoter.
I would love to.
I would love nothing more.
You would love it.
Yeah.
See, I would love to promote one time, just to say I did it. And
I don't
see if
think
I could
it's
do
an
it.
easy job. Don't get me wrong. We all complain about them. But I refereed wrestling for 19 years. And my skin's pretty thick. You can yell at me all you want. I'm not getting riled.
You know, I've never refereed a game, but my son played baseball this year, and it was shell-shocking. You think the drama and the intensity is hardcore at a racing event? It ain't nothing until you've gone to a youth sporting event.
Well, but
Oh my God.
Todd can be, shall we say, irrational sometimes,
Not
or
me.
opinionated.
Well, you can probably say that.
But you also have a very.
But I'm
successful-
right.
You also have a very successful business.
But I'm right, though.
Where you work with home builders, who are the most demanding group of people you'll ever meet in your life, and you don't have a problem rationalizing with them. And there isn't a race car driver that's more irrational than a home builder.
Very true.
Well, what about you, Jamie? Look at what you do. You have a very successful business.
I would love to promote. I'll be honest, I'd probably need a partner that could show me how to work the track. I'm not very good with understanding the track. I can't read a track. Obviously, if you watched Supernationals last year, you would understand that, but David was not tacky the second night.
Well, is there a possibility that 10 years from now we could see the both of you maybe trying to pair up to run a track, say Stewart, or just a
We'd
track?
have to have his dad to referee between us, but I think we could.
Because I would always be right and he would always be wrong.
So if you guys hypothetically were working together, who would do what at the track, roughly? Would you be tech and he
Well,
would
it'd just be like normal everyday business. I would be doing all the work. He'd be sitting upstairs in driver's
I would
meeting
have
in
to
5 minutes, please.
I would have to do all the promotions and everything and ride that. He would have to do the other stuff.
What would you look for in a flagman?
Me.
You.
Hey, Gil Miller ran that track for many years. He was a promoter for many years. He was also the flagman.
I would race with him flagging.
Would you? How about you, Sean?
Race with my dad flagging? Might be interesting.
Songer wouldn't race because he get the black flag every time he hits the track.
You'd see the black flag before he got in the pit area.
Exactly. He wouldn't even get through the gate.
So, I tell you what, where are you guys going to be at this year? How can people keep up with Sean Cooney and Todd Cooney and NASA's newest driver?
Harlan and Stewart would be the best ways.
Dumdum.com.
Dumdum.com? Are you seriously going to make a website, dumdum.com?
No, I ain't got a website.
It'll be made as soon as I get out of here.
Dumdum.com? I want to see this.
Todd everywhere.
Isn't that a sucker? The sucker's already got that.
Hey.
TwoSockMotorsports.com.
I
2sockmotorsports.com.
Honestly? Okay. That's all I need to do.
I tell you what, it's been Sean Cooney, Todd Cooney, Jamie Song, of course I'm Buddy Ray. You've been watching Slingin' Dirt presented by Joe's Karting. We'll see you at the track. Wow. Your thoughts on Cooney Songer being a promoter? That's a pretty serious.
That would be like you and I being promoters.
Well,
You know how we get along.
you
know how they get along.
You would mow the grass around the racetrack, and I'd be doing everything else.
And you'd be saying, you're mowing it the wrong way.
We would be. I want like Major League Baseball patterns on the track, and I want the walls cut flat and even so we can put flowers up so we can attract the
Face it,
ladies.
Songer and Cooney are just like you and I. Me and Cooney, we're going to go off and have some beers, and you and Songer are going to go do your thing, and then you're going to talk bad about us. And
I've never talked bad about you. Songer's never talked bad about Cooney.
Never, ever.
He might speak the truth from time to time.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, those guys are just hilarious. They need to just start a sideshow and, you know, comedy and
Stand-up race
race comedy or
racing.
something.
Yeah.
Maybe we need next year. We'll have to have them do a Songer Cooney comedy segment instead of Songer Says.
That would be hilarious. Tell you what, it's been Slingin' Dirt TV presented by Joe's Karting. We'll be right back. We're going to go talk to some of our sponsors. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to Slingin' Dirt TV presented by Joe's Karting. Today's tech tip, pretty funny,
Yep.
pretty damn true.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, Jack, I'm missing one of them tools.
Yeah, I don't have one of those tools in my drawer either, but you're going to have to watch the tech tip with Alex Brott. He sent it in via email to us. So if you have a tech tip, send it to Buddy Ray at
joeskarting.com.
with a K.com. You guys all know who he is. So anyway, here's Alex Brott and his tech tip.
What's going on, Slingin' Dirt TV? This is Alex Brott, driver of the 2X. You haven't seen me in action this year, but I'm coming back, don't worry. Currently in the process of putting my engine back together. Just been busy. So here's a tech tip that I have used so far the 1.5 years I've been racing. One plenty of other drivers have taught me, and it's been handed down from generation to generation. Every time I need to work on my car, I come out to my toolbox and just grab this tool. And then it seems to just work to just throw it at it. And then, boom, car's back on the track. Stay tuned for what's coming up with me. and hope to hear from you guys soon. Thanks.
All right. So Alex Brock,
Old Alex. He's quite animated, isn't he?
he's got a big tool.
That I don't want to know about.
Well, his tool's bigger than what I've got. I mean, I don't have a tool that fans out this big.
Although I need to get one of those drawers that just prints money every time you open it.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet, wouldn't
You
it?
think Best Buy's got a sale on copiers?
I don't know, Alex, you might have to hook us up.
I mean, you know everybody out there. But, I mean, that'd be kind of cool if we showed up at the track with a brand new chassis. Well, how'd you get a brand new car?
Got the secret drawer.
Yeah. Check out my tool.
Talk to Alex.
So, you know, but all joking aside, he's got a point.
Yeah, we all joke about it.
But it comes with the territory. If you're going to be fast and be competitive and win a race, you're going to have to spend some money.
If you just want to stay on the track, period, you got to spend money. It doesn't matter how fast you are. Just even just maintaining your car to stay on the track. Stuff happens. It's going to happen. Face it. Get you one of them drawers.
You know, years ago, I was the guy that thought you could put a B mod on the track with little to no dollars. And I had some really good close friends here in Council Bluffs like, "Bud, we understand you're cheap." I was so cheap at one time, Jack. Fred Lauer, Jeff, all you guys out there that help me from time to time, this is no BS. You can ask my wife, Rachel. If you were going to be on my pit crew, you had to go pick up pop cans and turn in pop cans and then use that money for your pit pass to be able to help me. I was that cheap. Now, we've kind of moved up in the world and we're not that cheap anymore. And the crew loved it after they had started doing pop cans. But people, anyways, back to what I was saying, they're like, "Bud, if you want to be fast and stay in the game, whether you're running last or first, you got to spend money."
You can,
Even though
duct tape and baling wire things together so long, and then you will not be racing anymore.
the way Brat talked about it was funny, but it is a serious subject, you know. So for all you newbies out there, you know, we're not saying that you got to spend $10,000 on a sport compact. But you can't be afraid of spending $50 to $100.
No, plan on having a little bit saved up more than what you have in your car and your suits and that stuff, so that when you do have it, you have the money on hand to fix it.
I went to a guy's house. I think I told you about this. This is what I'm talking about. I go to a guy's house, excuse me, to scale his modified. And I go, "Well, where's your timing set at?" "Oh, well, I got to go home and get my timing light." "All right, go home and get it." So he shows back up. Hand to God, cannot believe what he did. He had an Equus or an Equus timing light, an O'Reilly Auto Parts timing light. He shows up, the two cords are running straight up, two cords are running straight down the timing light, and right in the middle, they're completely frayed and they look like fiber optic. And he took the ends and he literally bow tied them to read a signal. And then I was like, "Are you serious?" "Well, it's $30. I'm like, "Really?" Same guy, I told him to go get anti-seize for our tie rods, for the wedge tubes on the front end. He couldn't get them busted loose at all. We had great big cheater pipes, great big mess.
You just got to throw them away by that point.
Yeah, like you said, just throw them away. So I go, "It's $7, maybe $7 after tax. Go get a little thing of anti-seize. O'Reilly Auto Parts sells them. It's not like the stuff just flies off the shelf. Just go get anti-seize. This will be one of your best friends." So what's he do? To save money, he buys the 25-cent packets of anti-seize and brings back like 10 of them. I'm like, "Serious?" "Well, it's a lot cheaper." Yes, it's cheaper buying the little packets, but for as often as we use the anti-seize, you're going to be farther ahead. I've got bottles of anti-seize that I've had in my cabinet for 3 years, and I still use it all the time.
Absolutely,
you can't be scared to
spend a few dollars.
Yeah.
I agree. You got to. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's our tech tip of the week with Alex Brott and Buddy Ray's old home stories. So, anyways, we're going to move on to we got a fan of the week question this week, and I had last weekend I had this young lady come up to me and ask me, "How do you guys know where to line up at, and how do you know when it's your race and all that stuff?"
Here's how we decide that. Years ago, you ever heard of a guy by the name of Jeff Foxworthy? So Jeff Foxworthy was talking about being a redneck brain surgeon. Well, what we're gonna do here is cut the top of your head off, put this stick down in there, and move that darn gone clot around with the stick. That's about the mentality of our lineups. Because at times we're going, how in the hell did he get up there?
In buddy speak, that means we don't exactly know how they calculate where you line up by points and things like that. Sometimes there's a draw involved.
By my speak, I have my own buddy dialect or something.
Pretty much. I'm the voice of sanity. You're like gibberish sometimes. But anyways,
go back 2 weeks and watch the drug use.
There you go.
Episode.
Good point.
Yeah.
But anyways, we don't always know how they calculate the lineups, but they always put the lineups out posted down to Pit Shack. So one of our crew, if not us, we take a picture of it with our phones, so we know. Some places like I-80 where we race have an internet site set up to where you can actually go online and see where your lineups are at, which is nice because then you're not running back and forth all the time. And then we get lined up, and there's this guy out there with a big finger, and he says,
"Yep."
And then you got radios in your ear once you're on the track, and they yell at you because you didn't listen to the guy with the pointy finger, and you're in the wrong spot.
What's really annoying is the guy in the lineup chute going like this to go like this, and then the guy in the announcer's booth is going, "No, Jack, I want you over here," and the guy in the lineup chute is going, "No, Jack, I want you over here," and you're like. It's like the whole mom and dad scenario when you're 5.
It is.
Well, which parent do I listen to?
And sometimes you just stay where you're at, and they go 44. If you're going to stay there, that's where we're starting.
Yeah.
All right.
So now to be a little bit more in depth, I don't know all of it, but I do know like on the first night at a racetrack, not your first night, but the first night total for a racetrack, we always have a draw-redraw.
Right.
That makes it fair for everybody.
Or specials.
We'll have a draw-redraw. You draw a number, and then if you finish in the top 3, sometimes top 2 of your heat race, you'll go in and you'll redraw, and the lower the number, the higher up you start. We did that at the Silver Dollar Nationals. Yeah. BJ,
I drew his number. I drew him 11. So
yeah, you drew good.
if it was any other race and I was driving,
I seriously
473.
Out of 300 numbers, I drew 57. I thought I was going to be on pole, and hell no, I'm like second or third row inside. I was like, man, this is not right. So anyways, now to your weekly stuff, a lot of tracks will use a 1-week point average. So, Mr. Pansy Wansy here got a little hot and stayed home. So let's say he would have went up to the track, and out of 20 cars, he finished 20th. Well, the following week, you probably would have started on the pole.
Yeah.
You're far enough down in points, you finished 20th in the feature, they would have given you first place in a heat race to try to elevate you to
That's what they call inverting the field.
Yep.
Basically, they put the fast guys who have the most points in the back and the slower guys with the least amount of points in the front, which makes it harder for the fast guys to get up there.
But you got to look at your 1-week point average along with your season average.
Yep.
If you're somebody like Jesse Dennis, who, my God, that guy's fast. He is rewriting the word fast. You look up fast in the dictionary, and there's a picture of Jesse Dennis. I'm not kidding you. He's always going to start in the back of the heat. He's always going to start in the back of the feature. He's just that good. Now, if he was to go 2 or 3 weeks where he had a bad run and he was finishing in the back of the feature, well, he might be starting up front on the heat race.
Well, see, now that's another thing, because the features are different. If you finish top 3 in your heat race, which Dennis always does, that means he may start 3rd row in the mains, even though he finished first. They'll invert the top finishers,
right?
And then
top
there's everybody.
Invert.
Yeah, then there's everybody else behind them, and then there's the B main guys that fill in the last few spots. So
now at times
we don't always know how they do it. We just look at the thing that says that's where you're supposed to be, and we go.
And for you fans that don't understand the lineups, I've been doing this for 23 years, and at times I don't understand the lineups because some of us, you've seen it, we're like,
yeah, I should be on.
Yeah, how the hell did you start up there? I was like, what the? No.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't ask questions. I quit trying to figure that out years ago.
Trying to figure out the lineups at a dirt track race is trying to figure out a marriage. You're going somewhere, but you have no idea how to get there.
I just do what I'm told.
You just do what you're told.
So anyway, there you go. That's the answer to your question. We don't know. We just follow directions well, and then if we don't, they yell at us in our radios, and then we do what they tell us to do.
Speaking of following directions, I think we got to go to a break and talk to one of our Sunday, August 16th at Stewart International Speedway in Stewart, Iowa. It's the Richard Welch Bones Memorial Races, sponsored by Jorgensen Custom Hayes Services. $1,000 to win for IMCA Sport Mods. Also on the card that night would be IMCA Modified, Stock Cars, Hobby Stocks, and Sport Compacts. Hot laps at 5:30 with racing to follow. August 16th, the Richard Welch Bones Memorial Races. Be there.
Would you like to see your ad right here on Slingin Dirt TV? You need money, we need money. So if you want to sponsor an ad on Slingin Dirt TV,
email me at buddyj@joeskarting.com. It's BUDDY, letter J, at joeskarting.com, karting with a K. Gain some traction, become a winner by putting your sponsorship right here. Hey everybody, welcome back to Slingin Dirt TV, presented by Joe's Karting. Let's just get right to it. Here is Songer Says.
Alright, so I got a bone to pick with this bitch they call Mother Nature. What in the heck is going on, lady? I mean, Jiminy Christmas, I ain't seen a racetrack in days. Maybe months, weeks. Holy smokes, it's gotta rain every third day. It's gotta rain on the weekends. I'm too old to race during the week because I gotta have my sleep. This old bitch just keeps ruining every single weekend, every single special. We can't get nothing done. You gotta drive miles and miles and miles and spend more gas money. I mean, I'm thinking we ought to invest in a dome, walk up, crack this old lady in the head, and get some racing in. I mean, holy smokes, folks. We ain't raced in I don't know how long. We got weather. At least we're not as bad as you poor boys down there in Texas that are gonna have to race boats, or Oklahoma. Kansas ain't getting treated no better. Iowa's gotten treated a little better, and I think Minnesota's been treated all right. But this bitch is ruining everything. Holy smokes, she's worse than a virgin at prom. She's just no good for nothing. I mean, my God, somebody's got to do something about her. But I don't know what to do, guys, but if, we got a racetrack that's racing and everybody else is saying they can't race, put it on Facebook, spread the word, call your friends, text away. Tell somebody what's racing on the weekends that it's not. I love traveling. I have a blast traveling. Not everybody can do it, but, this Mother Nature bitch is ruining it all, and we got to somehow race. So let's figure it out. Good luck.
Wow, Jamie Songer. I tell you what, his last few Songer Says videos have been great. Absolutely loved it.
he's always on point. He's always there's always something in there. It's always the truth that just might be embellished.
All of his Songer Says have been great, but the last couple, 2 or 3, have just been, like you said, point on, straight to the point. One of my favorites, though, I think about this, I bet you every other day, is, and you've seen this, somebody will dominate in a class. They'll have a good run going. Well, this guy's too good, he needs to move up. Really? No. Seriously? I mean, yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
The only way people like that are gonna move up is me.
Yeah. So, but anyways, enough of Songer. We already know he's spot on.
He's already been like 2/3 of the show. So
yeah.
We're done with you, Songer.
Yeah, you're done. Special announcement.
Okay.
There's a guy here at Creative Element, James Palmer. Y'all don't see him. He's too ugly for TV. But there's a certain little filly in his life that doesn't think he's all that ugly, so he's getting married. So we want to tell you from Slingin Dirt TV, we're proud of you. Congratulations, and
yeah, make it last long. Do what she tells you, and you'll be fine.
Treat it like a lineup.
Thanks, guys.
Just go where you're told and do what you're supposed to. You'll be fine. So with that being said,
well, congratulations,
Yep.
and we'll let you go. This is Slingin Dirt. See you next week.